the visual and gameplay update, a cornerstone of modern League of Legends, bringing old, nonsensical, and forgotten champions into the modern era.
Money!
Well, they've certainly had their ups and downs over the years. I think we can all agree that as of right now, they're on a pretty impressive streak. The past 4 VGUs have all been absolute slam dunks, maintaining the spirit of the original champion while successfully modernizing their kit, visuals, and lore. It's because of this that I really have zero doubts that the Udyr VGU will also be a massive success. His design already gets 2 thumbs up for me, and the fact that his stances are now the Freljordian demigods is just amazing. And thankfully, we don't have much longer to wait to see him in action, as he's scheduled to release sometime early 2022, as well as a brand new poll for the community to vote on the first VGU of 2023. However, we have an outlier here. The mystery VGU was announced a little while ago, but who is this mystery VGU? Well, we don't really have any hints or teasers or anything of the sort to clue us in the right direction. Really, we have no idea who the mystery VGU champion is going to be.
I've come to make an announcement!
Actually, yes, we fucking do. Using my vast intellect, I've not only concluded who our mystery champion is, but I'm well within 100% certainty that there's going to be an entire Void-centric event next year, because the mystery VGU is Cho'Gath. Before we take a deep dive into the big hints as to why our favorite spawn villain knockoff is going to be the next VGU, we first need to take a look at who our other options even are. With the introduction of Art and Sustainability updates, or ASUs, more champions will become modernized than ever before. I hope at least. But we got the important distinction that champions already on the chopping block for receiving a full VGU are ineligible for getting an ASU. So immediately we have narrowed down options for who the mystery VGU is. At the moment, we know the champions on the cutting room floor for VGUs are Cho'Gath, Nocturne, Quinn, Rammus, Shaco, Shyvana, Skarner, and Tryndamere. And immediately, we can disqualify Rammus, because he literally just got a mini rework this year, implying that if he was in fact the mystery VGU, Riot would have been working on the mini rework and the full VGU at the same time. And we all know what happened the last time Riot did something like that. Next, we can disqualify the previous VGU poll contenders. While I do have my theories as to why these ones would be disqualified anyway, we have hard confirmation on this one. Reeve3 said himself, none of the champions from the previous VGU poll are the mystery VGU. And honestly, I think that's a good call, especially in Shyvana's case. Not because she's been a bad choice, but because if Mundo has taught us anything, it's that Riot needs to have better communication. There's a very good extended period of time where 2 entirely separate Mundos existed simultaneously. And I think largely this is because of poor communication. It ended up being a lot of work for the Wild Rift team to remedy the double doctor situation, and I doubt they'd want to do it again so soon with Shyvana. It's for the same reasoning of unnecessary work having to redesign and rework a champion for 3 separate games that I think we can disqualify Tryndamere. I mean, they're gonna have to go back to both these guys eventually, but you know, so that leaves us with only 2 options, Cho'Gath and Shaco. And honestly, yeah, I think Shaco would be an excellent choice as well. Gameplay-wise, he's toxic as fuck. Design-wise, he's every murder clown trope to have existed ever. And lore-wise, he has less than Necrit,
You may simply call me Necrit.
who is a YouTuber.
That's me.
So why do I think Cho'Gath is the mystery VGU over Jared Leto over here? Because, my dear viewers, not only do I predict the Cho'Gath rework is coming out next year, but that we are also getting an entirely Void-centered event to go along with it. If this year has taught us anything, it's that Riot has most likely realized the value of lore and lore-related events. All 4 2021 champions were a part of the Sentinels of Light event, and the 2 champions delayed till next year were only delayed because they didn't want to release any Piltover and Zaun champions during Arcane that had nothing to do with Arcane. Also a reoccurring pattern of champions releasing back-to-back from the same region or similar themes, Yone and Lilia, Viego and Gwen, Professor Von Yip and Karina Varaz. 2 new champions that we definitely don't know who they're gonna be from the same region. To me anyway, it seems pretty clear that Riot's new method of champion release is not a one and done deal anymore, but to create a spanning event out of it. But how is this tied to Cho'Gath? Well, if you've had a keen eye over the years, you might have seen that Riot likes to tease future champions in their champion roadmaps. A smoking hot new juggernaut who releases their stored aggression upon their enemies. A heavily armored criminal known to mount a quick retreat. Life can be so vexing. I mean, this one's literally in the fucking title. And in our most recent roadmap, our next update will be at the start of next year, where we'll have a lot to share, including more details on the new villainous support, the next VGU plan after Udyr, as well as an overwhelming new jungler that should fill a void in all your hearts. So yeah, I think we can pretty much conclude that we are going to be getting a void champion next year, along with the confirmation in a previous roadmap that we are finally getting a brand new monster champion, actual monster champion, This could mean we are getting our first real Void board since 2014. Fucking hell. But really, this means nothing for Cho'Gath. If we're grasping at straws here, having the Void Champion listed right after the mystery VGU could be taken as a hint, but that's really not enough of one to imply any real possibilities of it being so. Thankfully, that's not all we have. Besides teasing and sometimes even name-dropping new champions and reworks and roadmaps, Riot also likes to tease new champs through other mediums. Sylas was name-dropped, and even a central character in a short story released an entire month before his reveal. VGU was set to start an entire game before he came to League of Legends, and the sheer amounts of nods to Yoni's return, from stories to games to everything under the fucking sun, it's like... I still didn't want it to happen, but you know, here we are. Point is, especially now, Riot likes to give us hints at what's to come. And believe me, we've gotten plenty of Void teasers as of late. Shimmer in Arcane, new short story for Malzahar out of nowhere, mention of the Void in the new Bard story, our first ultimate statue in years being Kaisa, a Void champion. What the fuck? And the biggest one, the Legends of Runeterra leak. Legends of Runeterra is well known for leaking future updates at this point. Hell, the entirety of the Targon expansion's voice lines got leaked before Bilgewater even came out.
Embrace the darkness.
Yes, this is what Nocturne sounds like without his voice filters. Honestly, I wish they kept it like this. Although they've been happening less frequently, a new leak recently surfaced. 2 new keywords being added to the game, those being Evolve and Rift Walk. While the first could technically apply to several champions, the latter literally only applies to one. Whatever way you look at it, Kassadin's coming to LOR sometime next year. Evolve, on the other hand, while it could apply to other champions, is likely applying to either Kha'Zix, Kaisa, and if you really wanted to, Cho'Gath. So the way I see it, we're getting 2, maybe even 3 to 4 Void champions in LOR next year. But that begs the question, where would they go? Well, they can't be a new region in LOR, 1 because there are literally not enough champions to make it one. Rek'Sai has already flopped over to Shurima, so that makes it even worse. And 2, because we already got hard confirmation from the devs that Bandle City is the final region. God help us all. So how would they implement new Void champions? It's simple. Put them all over the goddamn place. Much like Viego's cards, I hypothesized the Void-themed expansion would have several cards from all across Runeterra, either showcasing the Void monsters invading or corrupted creatures and people now fighting for it. But that Viego expansion wasn't any ordinary expansion. No, sir. It was a collaborative lore event. While sure, Sentinels of Light expanded to Riot's other games, you would be hard-pressed to find a non-mainline expansion LOR event not tied to a League of Legends one. KDA, Lunar Beast, Sentinels of Light, Arcane. So in my eyes, adding a bunch of new Void champions at once only makes sense if they were an event. And by proxy, that would imply a Void event coming to League of Legends. And how would they promote this new Void event? Why, they'd want to modernize the Void, of course, with a new champion and maybe even a design update or rework to go along with it just for good measure. A big ass event, finally bringing the last forgotten region of Runeterra up to modern standards. Finally nailing down a design aesthetic for the Void. Our first new monster champion in over 5 years. One of League's original 40 champions given new life. Hell, maybe we'd even get an ASU for Malzahar, Cass, Kog'Maw, maybe even all 3. I really am riding high on copium from this one, aren't I? So yeah, that's it. That pretty much sums it up. Admittedly, it's not a whole lot of evidence as to why Cho'Gath is the VGU for next year, but it's a hell of a lot more info than we have for Walking Phoenix over here. But you know what's funny is we might actually know the answer to this question sooner than you think. We actually have a new VGU poll coming up at the start of 2022 to decide the first VGU for 2023. If Cho'Gath's on there, then, you know, well, shit, all I can really say is to vote for him, I guess. But if he isn't on there, whoo, boy, I'm gonna have bragging rights for a long time. Either way, I don't really have any idea what Cho'Gath will do when he gets his eventual rework. The only really big thing I want him to keep is his ability to grow in size. The whole playable kaiju aesthetic we've all come to love is actually what got me into League of Legends in the first place. If you lads haven't already, I highly encourage you to check out Subjectively's video on redesigning Cho'Gath. While not a major overhaul to his design, I cannot deny just how fucking cool it looks, and it's always interesting to see artists take a deep dive on character design and learning about their thought process. That video will be linked in the description, and I highly recommend checking it out. So that's all for me, fellas. What do you think? Do you think I'm right? Is Cho'Gath getting the VGU? Or do you think I'm wrong? Is Tryndamere, Shaco, or maybe even a wildcard champion like Corki getting the VGU? Either way, let me know in the comments. Making this video put a pretty big dent into how early I can get the 2021 Rewind video out, but just know, it's coming. Take it easy, lads. I'll see you in the next video.